is up, you blasphemous, blasphemous people? Welcome back to the Godless one. Today, I'm going to just be giving you some rambling thoughts once again. I do promise that eventually some structured videos that are thought out and scripted will be coming your way. But this is just going to be another video to where I am giving you just some random thoughts that I am having because I'm going through a particular situation as an atheist. My cousin died on Monday. My cousin died and she was just a year older than myself. She died from cancer. She died a lesbian and she died a Christian. I came out as an atheist about 4 years ago. Came out to where I didn't care who knew, talked about it openly. If you ask me the question, I answer, yes, I'm an atheist. And I started doing that about 4 years ago, a little bit before I started my channel, The Raging Atheist. But it was really about 2 years ago that became an issue with my family. For one, I've always been kind of reclusive, standoffish from my family, from family and friends. I'm a loner. I always have been. I like to be alone. But a couple years ago, it came to the forefront with almost all of my family that I'm an atheist, and I took a stand, and I took a stand that I'm an atheist and I should be validated and you guys should accept me for who I am. And they could not do that. After spending years upon years trying to force me to conform to them. And I had finally had enough of it. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to conform any longer. This is who I am. And I should be free to speak freely as the person that I am. And that was an issue. And yes, I have been isolated from almost all of my family ever since then. On my own. Pretty much alone. Well, and I know like the Christians will laugh, that's what you get, atheist. That's what you deserve, atheist. Nobody deserves that. Nobody should be exiled just simply for being the person they are. When that person, there's nothing wrong with it. When I'm not breaking the law anymore like I did when I was a theist. I'm not some arrogant cock like I was when I was a theist. I'm not a playboy player playing with women's emotions like I was when I was a theist. I'm a better human being. And I shouldn't have to hide the truth of myself. And it blew up 2 years ago with my family, and I lost almost all of my family. And not that, like, you know, they refuse to see me or, you know, I'm not allowed to come to family functions. You know, I'm most likely not going to be invited to them. But if I did find out about a family function, I could show up and nobody would cause a stink. It's not like that. It's just they made it evident and plain as day they didn't want me to be me. My cousin had cancer. I was excluded from it. You know, they went and made t-shirts for the family members and, you know, I was excluded from it. I've known this person my entire life. We were extremely, extremely close. But because I took my stand and I tried to be who I am 2 years ago, I was excluded. I'm not wanted. And that has been made really, really clear to me. And I've made it a point, like, not to comment or try not to comment on family members' posts anymore, not to try to be the raging atheist with family members anymore. But it doesn't stop me from being myself. It doesn't stop me from having thoughts, feelings, emotions, being myself. I just don't post in their shit, and I don't talk to them anymore. And they don't talk to me anymore. And, you know, my cousin died on Monday, and, you know, nobody's reaching out to me to see how I'm doing. Nobody really cares, you know, which is fine. And I had just maybe 2 people left that I could just be me. that I thought that they still accepted me, and you know, and we've had issues in the past, but we've been able to get over them. And I thought that they, you know, they might not agree or like some of my antics or the things that I say, but they accept me for who I am. Because that's been primarily the thing over the last 2 years, is I shouldn't have to hide myself. Christians, they don't have to hide themselves because everybody else around them is a Christian too. But I am expected to hide myself because everybody around me is a Christian and I need to respect them. But they don't respect me. It's perfectly fine and dandy for them to talk their Christianity in front of me, but if I were to say anything in regards to being an atheist or anything in regards to counter what they were saying, well, that's not allowed. I'm the one that's the asshole. I'm the one that's the dick. I'm the one who's breaking social norms here. Why are you being yourself? You should conform. You should totally pretend to be something else than what you are when you're around us because, damn it, that's what we demand. And if you're not going to give it to us, you're a dick. And really today, you know, family members started a post about my cousin's death. And I still haven't myself. I still don't even know how I'm taking it. As I said, I was very close with this cousin, and in the last 2 years, we just weren't. I'm still processing it. I'm still figuring it out. And I'm doing it on my own. You know, and I'm seeing these posts, and I'm seeing posts from a lot of, you know, family members, people talking. And usually, you know, if it's somebody in my family that I know, then I'll stop and I'll read it. But I don't think I've even, like, commented on anything or... I'm still trying to process this thing myself. And for me, you know, death is just a natural thing. We didn't exist before we were born, and when we die, we stop existing. And that's it, and that's all for me. You know, when you take into account pain and sickness and illness and cancer and, you know, sometimes death can be a blessing. And I wish I could tell you if that were the case for my cousin, but I can't because, as I said, I wasn't there. I was excluded. And I'm not blaming anybody for that. I take blame for that. I take blame for that because I dared to be myself. I dared not conform. And I've spoken on my other channel, and I'm going to tell you here that I see that as a mistake. But it's who I am. It's what I am. And I have to assume that it must have been some kind of a blessing because I've been told that it's been hard. But people are talking, and I'm seeing, you know, obscure family members, not family members that, like, you know, live around me or that I've dealt with, not even like the more fundamental family members that I actually have dealt with in my family up here. Those family members aren't even on my Facebook anymore, so I can't even see any of the things that they're posting. I just saw something from a family member. I can't even remember the person's name. That's how well I know this family member. But one thing I do know is that from the posts that I've seen, they're deeply fundamental Christian. And they're talking about how my cousin is going to go to heaven and the, you know, all of this shit. And it pissed me off because, like, I know they don't think that. I know that my cousin's homosexuality, my cousin being a lesbian, to them is a surefire trip to hell. And, you know, like, I see all the posts and I see all the posts about heaven and angels and all of that stuff, and that stuff doesn't really get to me. I understand these people. I understand that these are more moderate Christians. Their conception of God is that God is a loving God and God is an accepting God, and if you live a good life, then you're going to make it to heaven and be with your loved ones, be with your family. And I truly do not try to disillusion them. I truly do not try to do that. If you're that type of Christian, I don't have an issue with you. But to these last two family members I had today, as you know, the antibiotics seem to be finally kicking into my mouth and I can actually talk again. Today, I tried to express that to these two people. Just how, you know, sometimes I feel like I have to bite my words and not say the first thing that comes to mind when I see a post like that. And they lost their shit. And they revealed themselves to me. They revealed what they think about me, what they think about me as a person, what I am to them. It changed me today, and it hurt me today, and now I do feel completely alone today. The last two people I had here that I felt, you know, I couldn't be 100% with them. I had to have a guard up, but you know, like today that guard was just down. I don't know if it's because I've had the abscessed tooth. I've been in a lot of pain. You know, just the 4 months roller coaster ride that I've had with my health. But my guard was down, and I just spoke as myself and some of the things that I was feeling, because it was really the first time I had been able to talk about it with anybody. And man, was that a mistake, because I am an atheist in a world filled with theists. I am not them and they are not me. I am on the outside. They are on the inside, and some of them will be gracious enough to try to keep you on that inside with them as long as they can until the final line is drawn, until you've just been yourself one too many times. You know, I'm not the one that believes in this God that doesn't exist, that you have no reason to believe exists outside of the fact that you learned it when you were a child, that you grew up into it. It's the only reason you have to believe that this thing exists. But because I don't believe that, I am on the outside. And I envy atheists that aren't like that aren't in that situation, that aren't alone, that have support, that have people around them. I envy you. Because I don't think a lot of us does. And a lot of us, we definitely don't have the freedom to just be ourselves. Most of us don't. Not in this modern world we live in, that is still so chock full of primitive ideas. And you know, I would have never went to the funeral saying anything, being an atheist, being a dick. I'd go to the funeral and I'd be uncomfortable as it's a religious service and they're talking about all these things that I don't believe in. You know, I'd go and do as much of the reception and the party the family's gonna have, and I try not to say anything as people talked around me, all of this nonsense. I would be expected to be quiet, and I would be quiet. Because we're expected to keep ourselves in that closet. We're expected to conform to their irrational beliefs, to their traditions, to their customs. And, you know, I understand that. And I understand that. And these types of things especially should be about their life and what they believed and what they wanted. And you, as a man or as a adult, as a grown person, should be able to accept that and do that. But if and when the shoe is ever on the other foot, say I were to die tomorrow, would they respect me as an atheist? Like if I wanted to have an atheist service and play some of my live streams, do you think that they would show? Do you think that they would, you know, give me that last respect? Maybe some would. But I don't think a lot of them would. I don't think a lot of them would, because it's really easy to expect somebody else to put who they are in the closet when you've never had to do that yourself. But like I said, this was just some rambling thoughts in a very confusing time for me. And a sad time for me. I lost somebody that I love, somebody that I've known my entire life. So I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank my patrons for supporting me and supporting the channel. Can't wait to hear how some theist will twist this about and say this and that, and whatever. But it's truly nothing more than just some rambling thoughts I'm having right now in a confusing moment in my life. I'll see you soon.